We don't know whether it was according to Mahayana, Arahant can be reborn again. I'm just joking, not necessarily. But anyway, so his name is just more studies from Nagasen. Supposedly he must be really witty and really know how to respond to the audience as well. And I guess he was ordained in 2000 years in Bangladesh, but then since then, 2001, so he lived in Sri Lanka under the guidance of Abhidhamma master, not only Abhidhamma, the Buddhist master of the Dhamma. And now in present he lives in Hong Kong and doing his PhD. So I just asked what his PhD thesis is about, but it's too difficult for me to understand. So I would leave that in case you're interested to ask him later. I mean, that would be better. And we definitely welcome him. And this is kind of like an open talk. I still don't know what is going to talk and give it the lecture, but I'm sure it is very interesting. Anyway, so we are really willing to listen to what our Nagasen, big Nagasen tell us. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for coming. It's okay. Use this one first. Okay, Nagasen.
Exactly. First of all, I would like to pay my respect to Venerable Dhammadipa Bante for giving us the accommodation and taking care of us in US and giving us also opportunity to share what we have learned, and then other venerables Bante also. And I would also like to thank all of you for coming here to listen to Dhamma. So I actually didn't plan what to talk, and just when Bante was giving Dhamma talk, I just thought of a topic. I think it would be very good to talk because it's a simple, and I name it as application of Dhamma in our day-to-day life to live happily and mindfully. I think that is the most important thing. As a human being, we have to know how to live happily and mindfully. When we know actually to be happy, first of all, we have to be mindful. So when we live mindfully, then we can be naturally happy. As a human being born in this world, and also as we are Buddhist, we know that we have some purpose why we are born. Not like other people who do not believe in Buddhism or who do not have any goal. They just think that they are born spontaneously and they have nothing to do after they die, right? So for us, actually, to be born means we have a lot of things to do, and it's an opportunity to do good or to liberate. And if we don't take this opportunity to liberate ourselves, we will keep born again and again, and we will have problem. Not only in this life, but many lives to come. And so, if we look at the Buddha, before his enlightenment, he was just like us. Many of us, like an ordinary being, thinking of a way to get rid of samsara when he encountered with the suffering. And I don't want to relate the whole story of the Buddha because I know that many of you are familiar with it, right? But we can actually learn many things from Buddha's life if we really examine and take it, apply into our life. And because when the Buddha, before he became Buddha, he was uh, he didn't, he was feeling all kinds of feelings like us, maybe better than us, but the same, like frustration, sadness, and existential anguish. So he was not different from us, right? And then uh, when he uh, when he went out of the palace, then he saw the four omens, and then the first three really strike him, really frighten him so much that he should find a way to end this circle of existence. So now we are lucky that he already found it, right? He has found the way, and we he had to spend his, at the beginning, he had to spend 6 years finding the proper path. But at the end, he was successful, right? So now we already have the path. And then what we have to do? We have to follow the path whenever we have problems. I don't want to say that we all can be enlightened in this life, right? It's not, it's not easy to be enlightened. We have to admit the fact. Unless we all have paramis. Paramis means the perfection. If we have some good karma, which we have done earlier, then that depends on your enlightenment. That wholesome act and your previous karma, to what extent you have accumulated perfections, that will lead you to enlightenment, called like the sudden enlightenment. Actually, it's not sudden, just sudden, because they have been maybe practicing earlier. So when they just heard something, then they can become enlightened. So when we practice Buddhism, we know that our ultimate goal is to gain enlightenment. But before enlightenment, we have to live, right? And when living in day-to-day lives, we have so many problems. And then we have to, some problems we actually create by, most of the problems, not some, most of the problems are created by ourselves. And then we go to see doctor and we go to psychiatrist, living the Dhamma way. For me, I understand Buddhism is actually a psychotherapy itself. It can cure you. You don't need to actually go to psychiatrist to cure your psychological problems if you know how to apply them. For example, when in our day-to-day life, we have many problems which we can achieve all at once, or sometimes we fail. When we fail, we blame ourselves, and we think that we are worthless, and then we keep on blaming. When we see in a negative way, you generate negative energy. These negative energies causes many problems. If we take the causal relationship, dependent origination, one cause related to another, right? And then your negative thoughts creates many bad energies. And then at one stage, you will be depressed. So when you're depressed, you don't have a positive mind, and you don't know what to do. You know only to commit suicide. And you think that that is the ultimate solution to end your problem. And, and this is just one of the examples, and there are so many examples. For examples, and I can say that many of you maybe have had experience of love, right? Sometimes you fell in love, then you had a broken love, and maybe didn't, and then you, after broken love, you are thinking, maybe I didn't take care of him or her. Maybe you always thinking maybe. There is no ending. But when you were together, you never thought of looking at after him or her properly. So there is no ending of proper question. I mean, there would, even if you are united later, you won't be able to live happily. And just the previous memories would keep you worrying, and wherever you go, you will be thinking. So you see, so many psychological problems, right? And and also, first I will tell you the problems, and then later I will tell you how to solve, right? How to apply. I will just talk generally, I mean all the problems, all kinds of problems. And then let's say also, like when we are living in a competitive society, or when you want to compare yourself with others, are you really happy? Can you ask yourself and also, do you love yourself? If you love yourself properly, you won't compare yourself with others. But many of us compare ourselves with others, and many of us think that we are, I mean, he is better than me or she is better than me, like that, and you have all kinds of problems. This is okay. But if you are aware of this comparison, then you will not compare anymore. When you do not compare with others, you can live more happily. Like in a competitive society, why you want to compare with others? Because you want to show that you can do better than others, and you want to, and that also leads to other causes also, like greed. And I want to live better, but you are losing your happiness. You may be materialistically rich, but spiritually very poor, and then you will spend all your time earning money, and then at the end you realize, what did I do at 65 or 75? What did I do? I did not look after myself, and I did not take care of myself. I just spent all my time earning money, and when you are sick and you spend all the money, then there is no benefit. So for Buddhism, the Buddha tells us that when we live mindfully, you are aware what you are doing, what we are doing. So when we are aware, we know what to do tomorrow or now. So there won't be, I mean, you are not out of Dhamma, you are with the Dhamma. When you are with the Dhamma, you can be happy. So if I share my experience of applying Dhamma, I mean, as you might be thinking, like, we are monks and we don't have problems, we don't have depressions, and we don't have psychological problems. But you have to think, we are also human beings, right? Just the difference is we are monks and we are lay people, but we are same. We have same problems, but we know how to handle it. How to handle? Let's say the text, the Buddha has given the guidelines. So whenever we have problem, we look into those Dhamma and apply them, then you can really understand that helps. For example, as a layperson, maybe you might have experience or you will experience some relatives die, right? Then you would cry and you'd be very sad, and then you can't really tolerate, and then you don't know what to do. Then I would suggest you to read the story of Patachara. Do you know the story of a Patachara? It's a very interesting story, and then you actually can learn so many things from her life. This lady, this story happened during Buddha's time, and then she ran away with a husband, with a servant from her house, and then she would live in a forest, and then they had already child, and then that night it was raining very heavily, and she was about to give birth to another new baby, and husband went to bring woods or banana leaves to make a hut, to make a place for her to give birth. But when the husband went to the forest to bring the banana leaves, and then he was bitten by the snake, and he didn't return. Then when she went to find out, she found him dead. Now she has the child and the newborn baby. She gave only birth. Now she wants to cross the river to come to her house, to parents' house. Then the river was flooded because of the heavy rain, and then she wants to while crossing. I mean, she had to cross the river, right? Then she has two babies. How to carry them? Then she placed the newborn, the child on the bank, and the new baby, she carried him first, and she put it to the other bank. And then when she was in the middle of the river, the eagle came, and the eagle took the newborn baby and eating on the sky. And the mother wants to chase away the eagle. Then the other child thought mother calling him. Then he jumped into the river and he also died. How many people she lost at that moment? 3, right? 2 children and her husband. Then now the only hope is her parents. Then when she came to her house, when she was coming to her house, a villager informed her that her parents, they were killed because of the maybe earthquake. The whole house collapsed and they were dead. Then now what to do? She became mad, and she had no sense. But luckily she met the Buddha, and then Buddha immediately, she was running on the street and without clothes, and people were throwing a stone because she was a mad girl, mad lady, right? But the Buddha, he knew it, and he addressed her like a sister. Then she came back to her senses, and then somebody gave her clothing, and she later learned the Dhamma and followed it. Then you might be asking, why did I tell this story? This story is to tell you that as a human being, we have so many problems. Actually, we can't get rid of the problems. We just have to know how to deal with the problems. We can't run away also run away from the problems. Problem is with all that. I mean, they are all the time with us, and then and if we talk also about anger, and maybe many of us are angry, or maybe many of us have experience, right? Being angry with someone, or you maybe remember someone who ill-treated you, right? Who punished you or ill-treated you, or who didn't go along with you. You harbor hatred in us. So when we harbor hatred in us, are we really happy? Are we really happy when we are angry with others? No, we are not happy. And the person with whom you are angry, he also doesn't know that you are angry with him. And you are carrying the anger wherever you are going. Let's say I was angry with someone in my country, right? So how far from here? From here to my country, Bangladesh. Very far, but still anger is with me. So where is the anger? Anger is with the person or with me? With ourselves, right? If I am angry, I am not happy. And I don't know how to get rid of anger. Do you know how to get rid of anger? Do you know? There are so many books, right? Handling anger and how to overcome anger. In Buddhism also, the Buddha has shown us how to deal with anger. And he has actually, in Visuddhimagga, there are lists of meditations. You can take any meditation objects to switch your purpose. So I will take the loving kindness meditation to teach you how to deal with anger. Because anger is very common to all of us, it's a feeling, and then this anger can lead you to devastation, and it can cause family problem, social problem, many other problems. And to get rid of anger, we have to do metta meditation. What is metta meditation? It can be translated as loving kindness meditation, or radiation of love. You see, to cure anger, we need love. Only with love you can get rid of anger. Not with anger and anger. It's not like this. So we would, to get rid of anger, I also learned from, this is my master's method also, divide into 4 stages, right? Firstly, you bring yourself in front in meditation and radiate enough metta to yourself. Firstly, we have to feel that I love myself unconditionally. And then from my experience also, I used to sometime or often do, like when I go to sleep, I forgive myself. And I say that I love myself, and whatever wrong things or anything I have done, I forgive myself and I accept it. So when you truly say this, and when you truly accept yourself, you feel the difference and you feel a little bit lighter, and then you can really go to sleep immediately, and next morning you can wake up happily. if you if you don't believe it, you can try tonight. Tonight before go to sleep, you can try. So you bring yourself, you imagine yourself right in front of you and radiate enough metta. So when radiating enough metta, you may be remembering some past memories, very bad memories. So what are you going to do? Are you going to blame yourself? Just let it go. Still accept yourself. No, I forgive myself. Maybe I was ignorant or I didn't know what to do, so I forgive myself. And there are actually some suitable phrases to say, like, may I be happy, may I be free from suffering, may I live longer, may I forgive myself. So this, you can say it, and you can wish all the good things for yourself. And sometimes you can also treat yourself with good food, what you like to eat. You see, treating yourself with good food, that means you are looking after yourself. Many of us are very busy looking after others, not ourselves. And we want to please others, not ourselves, right? So we are differentiating myself and others. So when you truly do this, follow this method, you really feel happy. Then the next is you can choose your mother or father or someone who is dearest to you, someone you love, and radiate enough metta to him or her. And if you still can't radiate metta because that dearest person hurt you or did something wrong to you, then you come back to yourself again and again feel that you can really radiate metta to him or her. Now, this is the second stages, right? Yourself and the dearest person. And the next is neutral person. Why a neutral person? Because to a neutral person, we don't care so much. We only care family members and neighbors. To a bus driver, do you have so much feeling? No. You just think he's a bus driver and you don't have much feeling. But actually we can do a lot of things. He's not just a bus driver, but he is doing a service to us. If we think in this way, we feel more connected. Without him, we can't go. So he's doing service to us. Not only driver, many things, many things. So now you have a neutral person, and you now can you really radiate metta to yourself, to the dearest one, and to neutral person equally. So when you pass these three stages, when you really can radiate metta, enough metta, then you are progressing in metta meditation. Then the last one is your best friend. It's called enemy. Your enemy, right? So it's very difficult. Why should I radiate metta to him? I want my enemy to die now, and I don't want to progress. You see, but because of your purification of mind, you are doing metta meditation, right? And then you really can radiate metta to him also. He is no more an enemy. And you will really forget what he did to you. So when you forget and forgive him. How to forgive? Because you accept human nature. We all make mistakes. And he's also human being. I'm also human being. So he did some mistake. I forgive him. Now you are radiating. You can see yourself whether you are able to radiate metta equally to these four persons. When you can do this meditation equally, then you already have progress. Still, if you can't radiate metta to the last person, the enemy, then come back to yourself, then to parents, dearest person, and then to neutral person and the enemy. So he is at the last, right? Now what you are going to do as you are progressing, you bring him first. You bring him first to enemy, and then radiate metta to him, then to neutral person, then to the dearest person, and then to yourself. So you will feel happy and happier, and then you don't see the difference between yourself and others, because by that time you suppress your ego. We all have big ego. It's not easy to get rid of, but Buddhism says that when we are enlightened, we really can get rid of ego. And then you can also extend your meditation, and then if you are doing in a group, you can radiate metta to everyone who are meditating, and then your neighbors and to your countrymen, and then you really can see that your radiation of love coming spontaneously. You just feel love. That is a very unique experience. And when you do these things, what is your goal? You're eliminating anger, right? So, when I was given a chance to talk about meditation, I shared this thing in New Zealand. There was a Japanese lady, and she told me that she was carrying anger for many years, because when she was younger, her babysitter abused her. You see, she was she had PhD, but still she has anger. Whenever she remember how someone treated, she feel angry and depressed and wanted to do something. But when she listened to this and practiced, she wrote to me and she was so happy. So you can also try this whenever you are angry. So I feel like Buddhism is not like it's a philosophy. You can say Buddhism is anything. It's a humanism, it's a philosophy, it's a religion. You can say Buddhism, you can give any levels. But to me, Buddhism is you can apply instantly, or you can apply whenever you are in a problem, and you can gain benefits. Buddhism is not something outside. Buddhism is within us. It's not in the text actually. It's in our mind. It's within ourselves. We can experience. It's not something given by others, but only the difference is discovered by the Buddha, like the Newton, right, who discovered the gravity. Apple falls every day, but nobody noticed. Only he was the one who noticed it, that the earth has the gravity. So in the same way, enlightenment is there, but there is somebody who will time to time come and discover it. Now we already have the path, and our duty is to practice. And I would also share as we grow old, we don't have to wait to practice the Dhamma. We have to practice every day. When we practice every day, we will not regret when we become older. And Buddhism is to practice. Like, for example, you have a distracting thought, and you maybe you're going to go bankrupt. So how would be your feeling? Your feeling would be so intense, and then you'll regret so much, and then you'll think like, or I will just lose all my saving right now. What are you going to do? If you also try to save, you can't, right? So by that time you can apply meditation, just breathing in and breathe out. That is the best thing you can do. When you do this thing, you will not regret, and you will not be sad, and you will be also happy in mentally. You know, the Buddha said that many of us, not many, but all the human beings can be free from physical suffering for 100 years, 80 years, 50 years, 30 years, 40 years maybe, or 1 week like that. But we can't be happy. I mean, free from mental sickness. So when do we get rid of mental sickness? When we become enlightened. Only through enlightenment we can get rid of mental sicknesses. So what is enlightenment? Yes. What is enlightenment? Is it difficult to understand? Yeah. Yes. Enlightened mind, right? He would understand the things as it is. When he gain wisdom, when you gain wisdom, then you are enlightened. We are not enlightened yet, but maybe we are on the way to enlightenment, and we just have the theoretical knowledge, right? Intellectual knowledge won't help you to get enlightenment, but they will guide you to get the wisdom. Buddhism call it panya. So panya means seeing the things as it is. What does that mean to you? Seeing the things as it is. Can you say, please? Seeing the things as it is. That means, I will just give a simple example. For example, like those who have studied Buddhism or who are aware of death, right, will not mourn or will not cry so much as the village guy or village man. Why? You just have a little bit of understanding that everybody die, right? But a farmer, he doesn't have so much understanding. He will mourn and he will cry so much. So you see the difference of understanding. But when you have the enlightened mind, or when you gain wisdom, you know that your best thing, like maybe I give the example of iPhone 7, right? What it is. What is the nature of it? Can you tell me what is the nature of it? The nature of it is it will change, it will break, right? Maybe you may be thinking, oh, if I drop my mobile, it will not break because it's so hard. But its nature is impermanence. You know that it has the nature already, but I don't see why. I haven't got the enlightenment yet, And my mind hasn't developed it yet to see the reality. The reality is that it will break, it will perish, and I myself will also perish. I don't see that. But when I have enlightened mind, I understand. So you understand it? Enlightenment, can you understand now what is enlightenment? That means you see the things as it is. We just can understand, but we can't experience so much because we are not yet enlightened. Bande, am I right? You can correct me if I am wrong. and and also another unique thing about Buddhism is, unlike other religion, maybe Buddhism is unique in many ways, like there are no commandments, right? In Buddhism, do you have any commandments? Do you have any fixed rules? No. Their commandments is like given by somebody and you can't change, right? We have just Vinaya, the rules. And then according to Buddhism, like when we say commandments, you have to follow it, right? Buddhism believes that you will follow certain rules, but the ultimate transformation should come from within us. Let's say killing. I just take the precept. I abstain from killing living beings. I just repeat it every day. But in practice or I don't understand it so much. So when you practice Buddhism, that understanding will suddenly come to you. Why won't you kill someone? Why? Why won't you kill someone? Why? Because I don't want to kill him, because he's just like me. He's another human being, and he wants to also live. I also want to live. There is no difference between him and I. So I don't want to. That understanding, when we gain, when we acquire, then we will not kill. You see? They understand not because of the Buddha said, not because of the God say. God told me not to do like this, not fear of the Buddha. Buddha can't punish you. He is not a punisher anyway. So that when you understand, then you will not do certain things. And when you really understand from yourself, you can't break the rule. But if you just take the rules, you can really break it. Or maybe you're frightened to break. So we have to, practice also, then you can understand. So in Buddhism, there's a method, right? How do I live better? How do I gain enlightenment? There's a way, right? What is that way? All of you are familiar with it, I know. What is the Buddhist way? It's common to all tradition, right, Bante? The Buddhist, yeah, I think so, yeah. The Noble Eightfold Path, right? The Noble Eightfold Path. 8 factors. There are 8 factors, 8 guidelines to reach the enlightenment, or 8 staircases. 1, 2, 3. But these 8 you should follow all together, not one after the other. What is the first one? Yeah, that's right. Right view. But my master would probably say proper view. Okay, there are different translations, but it's okay still. But in Pali, it's called Samaditi, right? Samaditi, proper view, right? So what is proper view? Do you have proper view? Yes, we have, but not to the highest level. To certain extent we have. Why certain extent? Do you believe that they are parents? Do you respect the parents? Yes, so you have some proper view, you see. There are others, human beings, they don't respect the parents. They don't believe that parents are worthy to be respected. So when you think in this way, then you don't have proper view. We have certain amount of proper view. And also, you all of you are Buddhists, so that's also proper view. Why? Because you believe in karma, and you believe that if I treat the monks well, and if I practice the Dhamma well, then I can be enlightened, and I'm following proper view, right? So this understanding actually very important. Like some people who really doesn't understand how to respect parents is they don't have proper view. They have wrong view. Then this can lead them to destroy their life, and then they don't respect their parents. In Buddhism, the Buddha asks, no, you must respect the parents. Why? It's not because they gave you birth. It's all because who brought me up, who fed me, the milk we drank, yeah, is all what? The blood of mother. So we can't repay. And the Buddha also mentioned in one of the Anguttara Sutta, if we carry our parents for many, many years on our shoulders, we can't repay the parents. You see how important to respect the parents. And I think it's also important to keep the family bond very good. Otherwise, you are just an lonely being. So, you have a proper view, and now this proper view, once you have the proper view, you can actually come back. You go forward. Then you have other factors, right? So I won't talk about all these. I will just mention some. And also you need to have right effort. So why is right effort? Why? Why do you need right effort? I mean proper effort. Why? Proper effort is like an energy, right? If we don't have energy, we will also fall down. We'll be lazy. And this proper energy also helps us to get rid of our unwholesome thoughts, to remove the unwholesome thoughts. We all have unwholesome thoughts. If we are not aware, they can come anytime, and they can conquer us. So we have to get rid of the unwholesome thoughts and bring the wholesome thoughts. So that's why the virya is important. So these things all have the link, and they can, at the end, then you can also do meditation. Meditation can lead you to enlighten. Concentration, and then you'll experiencing, right? You're like a scientist. In meditation, you're like a scientist, right? And you're experimenting yourself. What are you feeling in yourself? And when you close down and calm down your mind, you are more distracted than when you are awake. Do you believe it? Yeah, it is. Because why? When we are concentrated, so many unwholesome thoughts, the suppressed, the unconscious thoughts all pop up. They all come up like a clear water. You can see everything, right? They come up. And then you shouldn't be distracted. You just let it go. And the more you let it go, the more it will come. More it will come. But at the end, you can be really, you feel so much happy. Actually, I am sharing my own experience. In Thailand, when I was doing undergraduate studies, we had to go to 10 days intensive meditation retreat. And then once it happened to me that I could really meditate for a long time, and I was so, I felt I was so happy, and I won't get this happiness with having luxurious house or anything like that. And next day I wanted to get it again, and then I couldn't get it. I was so sad again. But during these stages, I know they are big meditation masters. I'm just sharing what I felt. And then to a certain stage, I felt so lonely, and I was so frightened also. But from my tradition, whenever I have some thoughts like this, I was instructed to note them, or you just can be also being aware of them. Whatever feelings arises in you, or the good, bad, happy, just let them go. Don't hang on to happiness when you feel happy, because that is not the ultimate goal. Ultimate goal of Buddhism is to go beyond that. So some people would say Buddhism is pessimistic, right? Many people have the idea like Buddhism talks about suffering all the time. There is no happiness. No. Buddhism talks about the highest happiness. The highest happiness. Paramang Sukhang, right? That highest happiness. Buddhism doesn't deny the everyday happiness. There is everyday happiness, but those are temporarily. We want the ultimate happiness, then we can't be sad anymore. I don't know how it is. You just be happy. So you'll have this meditation, and you also notice anger and pain. Where is the pain actually in your body? Can you tell me, have you ever experienced where is the pain in your body when you do meditation? Exact place where? Is there a particular place where you feel the pain? I don't think that there is a particular place. No. It's like an energy that come and go away, come and go away. When you are intense in meditation, you really can see, like the tube, the electric tube, right? Can you see the electrons or the current? It's a portion of current come and light the light and go away, again come, right? But we don't see it. It's so fast. So the energy also like that. The pain is not in one stage. In one place, just come and go, come and go. But when you have deeply meditate, concentration, you can really see it clearly. It's just the energy, come and go, come and go. So this meditation also actually need to keep it up. It's not like you have to go to retreat every day. If you have chance, you can do it at home or wherever you are. And if you make a habit, this can give you like you are depositing something, right? If you deposit something, it will increase. So meditation also, if you make a habit, you can do more and more. Not suddenly you cannot come into meditation. If you keep practicing every day, then today 5 minutes, after a few days 10 minutes, after a few days 20 minutes. Like that you can really meditate for a long time. And some meditators even they don't have to move also. No pain, I think, because you are used to it. You are used to sitting, and the pain won't come. The Dhamma is just the prescription, right? Meditation is the practice. Through practice, you can understand the Dhamma. Without meditation, I don't think that we can understand Dhamma. No, it's just the theory. These theories can't enlighten us unless we are like so much enlightened, so much in advance in our mind. I give you the example of a Bahia. Do you know the story of Bahia? Very interesting story. Should I share with you? Okay. This guy, he was a businessman, and then he had a shipwreck, and he had no way of living, no money, nothing. Then what to do now? He chose to live like a monk, to gain food from offering from the lay people, and he used to wear the bug clothes, the three bug, yeah. Then people respect him so much. It happened during Buddha's time, and then people mistook him for an arahant. They respect him so much, and then he would get food and everything. And one of his blood relative, the Deva, you know Deva? Deva means deity. One of his blood deity informed him that you are not yet enlightened. Don't pretend that you are enlightened. Then he said, what? Then how can I be enlightened? Then he said, there is a place where the Buddha is still living and preaching. You go and see him. Then you can be enlightened. Then he immediately went. And then Buddha was on his arms round, and the Buddha, and he pleaded Buddha to teach him the Dhamma. Usually for monks, when they go for Pindapat, they don't talk. And they cannot even ask for food. Do you know? Yeah, we can't actually, when we go for alms round, we can't ask, give me this, that. No. Then we are like a beggar. We also beggar, but not in like a immersing or collecting things. We just go, and people will call us and give food, offer food. That's the difference. We can't ask, give me this one, give me that. Then Buddha was on his arm round, and then he pleaded Buddha. Then Buddha said, this is not the suitable time for me to teach you the Dhamma because I'm on an arms round. Then he was so serious, and he felt existential anguish, right? We all feel. Do you feel? Yes, I also felt. I also felt many times. And I also feel now. I don't know why, but it's good to feel, especially when I sleep and get up suddenly, and then I remember, what am I going to do? Where am I going? Who am I? Do you have all these questions? Yes, I think if you read Dhamma, and you will have all these questions. Who created me? Am I going to be alone after this world? And then you feel so empty, right? And you have no way to go. And this guy, he felt so much that if he gets something, he will be someone, like. And the Buddha read his mind, and then Buddha gave him a very brief teaching. It's like ditte ditta matang bhavisati, and then sute sutta matang bhavisati. In English, in seeing only the seen, right? In seeing only the seen, what does it mean to us? In seeing only the seen. Please tell me. Let's share what does it mean to us. In seeing only the seen. So, but for us, when we see, when you and I see what, I don't see I don't see like that. I see as a whenever I see or you see, we speculate things. We relate it to our past experiences. What the Buddha is saying, when you see something, just see it as it is. Don't discriminate. Don't compare. But many of us do. So he was given very short teaching. So in seeing only the seen, in hearing only the heard, in sensing only the sense, in cognizing only the cognized. So in seeing, I see just when I see someone, I always differentiate, right? We all differentiate, male, female. Speculate so many. Just the heard, that's just the sound. I don't need to categorize it. What the sound is. It's a human sound or an animal sound or a band sound, what it is. I don't need to conceptualize, just the heard, right? So in sensing, only the sense. So what is sense? Can you say what is sense? Sorry? Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Mm. So in cognizing, what you cognize is just the. So you see, this teaching is very important in Zen Buddhism. So this is actually part of my thesis also. This very short teaching that could transform this bahia. So the meditation is so important, and then it's also important how we take it. Everyone sitting here is taking the information very differently, differently, right? Do you believe in this? Yes, we do. So some are receptive, right? Some of us are not. Some of us are just thinking what he is going to say next and what he's thinking, and then you may be thinking of other thing. And are we really listening? No, maybe not, because other time our mind is going here and there. We can't really listen 100% because unless we are trained. But in Buddhism, you are to be transformed, to learn well, we have to be receptive, and also we have to do meditation, right? And so I think I make all of you confused. So to summarize, I would say that I think it's time to summarize. Yeah, I make you confused. Yeah, because we all are confused anyway. unless we are English, we all of us are confused. Because of confusion, we are born. If we are not confused, we won't be here. And I would also say that actually is one of our past karma. We believe in karma, so it's one of past karma. Maybe we met in our samsaric life, in our many lives. That's why we are here today. And if you look at our master and us, we are from Bangladesh, he's from Malaysia, and very far also. And how we met someone. And we also feel on the way, sometimes you feel someone is very familiar to you. Do you ever think what makes it so, you feel so close to him or her? Why? If it's not about, not about rebirth, if there is no rebirth, how are you related? Why do you feel? You're not biologically connected, but why you feel? It's because of karma. Very difficult to understand also. So I would, to summarize, I would say that as a human being, we all have problems, but don't run away with the problems. And the textbook, the Dhamma, is there. When you're depressed, you don't need to go to a psychiatrist. Really, you look at the Dhamma. Suppose I told you the story of Patachara, right? Look at her, not like a story. Feel that she is like one of us, and she lost more dearest one than ours. Maybe we have just lost one. So if you are depressed anytime, yeah, we are already, and then you can just read and feel it. And that is this. You see how you can cure. What are you going to do actually if you go to a psychiatrist? What are you going to do? For a Buddhist, actually, if you know your problem, what is your problem, you don't need to go. You just need to go if you don't know your problem. If you don't know how to solve your problem. That psychiatrist is not going to do anything to you. Just you're going to vomit. You're just going to tell all your rubbish thing to him, and he's just going to listen. And at the end, he's not going to give you any methods, how to, but he does help you if you don't know how to tell your suppressed things. If you had some problem, he would help you how to release all your past things. So, why we feel so guilty? Why? In Buddhism, is there a guilt? No, there is no guilt in Buddhism. No. No, there is no guilt. Why are you guilty? Why are you guilty about something? Why? If you are guilty, means you are afraid of someone. You don't have to be guilty. And if you don't know how to confess to your friends or family, then you confess to Buddha. All your problem will be solved. How? In Pali, we have a gatha. We say like, whatever things, wrongdoings I have done, physically, bodily, and verbally, we make karma with these three things, right? So, may the Buddha forgive me. Does the Buddha forgive you? I think not the Buddha, but when you say it, you feel release. That's a very important thing. We all make mistakes. Then we confess to Buddha. Buddha is not going to release your. He's not going to forgive you. He's not someone like a judge or someone who to forgive you. But you are acknowledging your own problems, your own wrongdoings. To a certain extent, you understand, oh, I have done something wrong. I am taking a vow, and I'm going to do better. So you forgive. You're confessing yourself. Not like Christianity, you go to church and may the God forgive me. They do also like that, confessing. So you can confess. From today, you can confess to yourself and forgive yourself. Very important to forgive ourselves and love as much as you can love yourself. It's nothing selfish, no. Buddhism believes that if you love yourself, you can love others. If you don't love yourself, you cannot love others. You can't. First, loving kindness starts with ourselves. And if you keep loving and keep positive energy, then you will be progress. You know, one of the famous lady in USA, Louise Hay. She is one of my favorite writer because you know, right? Her books were sold millions of copies. She believes in affirmation, heal yourself. She is more, related to Buddhism also. If you read her life, if you have read or if you read, then you can see how devastated life she had. She had family problems, she was abused, and then she had at the end cancer. Doctor told her, you can't live, you're going to die also maybe, you see. And then, but she never gave up. She believed in herself. And then she believed in affirmation. Then later on she created the theory called affirmation. Like Buddhism, I told you, metta meditation, wishing all the good things. May I be happy, like that. I can live longer, I can be healthy. She believes that whenever you think in this positive thinking, you get energy. So you can really cure some disease. I think you can read this book also. Yeah, Heal Yourself. It's a free book online. You can find it PDF version. If you also do metta meditation, that's similar. And so another difference is, like for an arahant and normal human being, what is the difference between arahant and a normal human being? Can you say the difference? Sorry? Yeah, no more samsara. But when they are in samsara, just now enlightened, but still they live until they die, how do they differ from us? Yeah, that's right. That's one of the things. They don't generate new karma, but still, although they live, they have to, after enlightenment, they also live, right? Some live 80, 20 years. The difference between arahant and a non-human being, they also mention some of the differences. And another difference is like we are clinging to things happening to us, but they are not clinging. Like, for example, pain. If I have pain on my hand, I'll be so worried. The pain is just the physical, right? Then why I am so worried? I also think with mental things, with my mind or mental suffering. These two are connected with just every ordinary human being. But for an arahant, it's just the physical thing. He will not be disturbed mentally. You see, now you can understand what is an arahant, what is an ordinary human being. When somebody dies, he won't be so much, he won't suffer. He knows the nature of the things, but I am not yet. And these things you can apply now, you see. Anything you can. For example, I all the time try to apply, and I feel so happy. Sometimes maybe, I don't know, I can't apply, but most of the time you can. Sometimes, if you are unhappy, read the Dhamma book. Why Dhamma book? Because those are the things which are spiritual and which are very relevant to the truth. If you read novel or other thing, that will fantasy your mind. You will be wondering and you will be depressed again. If you read a Cinderella, then you You want to be Cinderella, not to solve the problem. So read the Dhamma book. So I think you can remember how to do the metta meditation, right? Is it clear enough? And how to follow the Noble Way path to be in the Dhamma. Don't think that you don't have right proper view. That's why we are learning Dhamma. Anyway, I'm going to stop it here, and then if you have any question, please, you are free to ask.
Anyone have a question? So if not, I will just say something first before anyone answer the question. Firstly, what in my mind is, perhaps people have never been living in Bangladesh. I have, anyway. But if you really understand the situation in Bangladesh, the majority of the religion here are Muslim. And then there's just only 0.7% of the people who are Buddhist. And they, when they say Buddhism, they will not convert as a Buddhist in a later time, but just by heritage. A long time ago, they knew that they were Buddhist. And I don't know, the man can tell a lot of them. I'm not very well. I just know that then they not very far along, right? And they started to have a Buddhist monk. Even though they know that they were Buddhist on their own history, but then they have really like Buddhist monk only just essentially but something that very unfortunately happens is very rare. I want to point it out because it's very rare because I just want to be taught in some way. Because actually, as being a very minority here, there's kind of 5 ethnic people living in Bangladesh, but they always face a lot of suffering there because out of many other reasons, perhaps the religious differences and so forth, many other reasons, their house, they always been destroyed by them. Even the loss of temple, it happens almost every week. That kind of thing still happens because they are really a minority. And they didn't get very respect in their country. So in some way that people are living in, right, definitely really lucky. Don't have this problem. Not at all. And also, for most person, I would say that is, if you live in that kind of country, so not because your house will be destroyed, not because of a different religion, your temple will be destroyed. The worst of all is that you have no voice. You could not speak that out. And I think that this is certainly a very good opportunity that Nagasen, Venerable Nagasen, sharing his idea. He was really, this is just not, us, he was telling us that, I guess even though he might not himself facing that problem, but for sure he knew a lot about that. So I believe that we were born in that European country. So I think that this is one of the value that he might be telling us, and this is how I think, is that even though we are facing that kind of problem, not that we're not going to solve the problem, but it's important first we need to solve our mind. And then he was trying to tell us the essence of Buddhism, what are they? Lots of people thinking that following Buddhism is like, bringing they will grant you all the bliss, the happiness, and so forth. But actually, I guess if allow me to say one more word, so I guess what he was trying to say, one thing is telling that actually, that's if you want to get enlightenment, you need to walk on it. So basically, and thank you for the talk, and I definitely hope that someone at least could, because I think, is it he's here, sorry, I didn't see that. First of all, I guess anyone have any question related to what our Venerable Nagasen just mentioned? They all very well because they understand the talk very well. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's all right. I think, thank you so much. I think we still have to, in tradition, we still have to stand up and bow to our venerable. Sorry. Just thank you for his wonderful teaching. Thank you so much. Yeah, one bow. And then I would just like to take this, I don't want to hold your time if you really have a plan, but I think that we can give about like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I hope that it's not too long. That I just talked to our Bante, Dhamajoti, that whether he would really, because I think this is a rare chance. We originally wanted to plan for 2 days talk because of that some talk was pre-arranged. So, and unfortunately, we just don't have this today. And then it's very kind that Venerable Dhamajoti said that he could just have a kind of dialogue that we're going on. So if you have a question and talking, asking him the question or what he's doing now, whatever, so that he will be really willing to share his ideas and his wisdom. So, and thank you so much. Would that be okay if you sit on there? I don't know, but if that's advantage, so see what we. Thank you. So, if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to discuss with, okay, thank you. You can ask in Chinese, but can he answer in English? I mean, of course, answer our under the wish, please.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to ask.
You can say in Chinese.
就是我想请问一下，那个我们今天早上讲的文思修嘛，讲阿毗达摩的时候，我想请问一下，那个思可不可以展开讲一讲？
你这什么？
文思修，今天早上有讲文思修，我想请问一下，可不可以展开讲讲思的部分？
思是怎么的？
就是文思修的思，文思修学的思。
首先应该从文开始讲，不要跳到马上就到思去了。OK， 你要我用英文还是用？中文？
英文可能比较好，因为有些他们后来有些今天是专门来听英文的，是。
Okay, the question is on the second of the threefold wisdom in Sanskrit. They are called Srutamai, Chintamai, and Bhavanamai Prajna. This morning I was talking about the so-called wisdom. It's an English translation for Prajna, in Chinese plural. And Prajna is not the same as ordinary understanding, not the same as knowledge. Ultimately, Prajna transcends the duality of the knower and the known, and is non-conceptualizing. The problem comes when our mind operates to conceptualize, and our mind cannot help doing that. Whenever it operates, whenever it arises dualistically. It arises as a subject, as a grasper, as a nanchi, grasper, comprehending the grasped. And I was trying to emphasize that in that kind of situation where knowledge, so-called, is derived, you never ever absolutely know the so-called object because you're only speculating. Your speculation, your knowledge about the object can only approximate the true nature of the thing being comprehended. And that is why the phenomena of the uncertainty principle is experienced at the subatomic level because it is a case of the observer observing the observed. Okay? So this is a case of so-called knowledge. Wisdom, the Wen-shi-xiu, Hui de wisdom, translated term, Hui, Prajna is not like that. But that kind of non-conceptualizing direct knowing or the becoming one with the object doesn't just simply take place automatically. This is not the mode of operation of mind or consciousness ordinarily. Normally, as I just said, when our mind operates, it operates dualistically. Okay? But we have to make use of it. We have to go from the dualistic mode to the non-dualistic mode. We have to go from the mode of knowledge to the mode of wisdom. Yeah. And we cannot leap into emptiness, as it were. We cannot leap into vacuum. We operate from where we are. That's a very important principle. It's very easy to talk about non-duality, to talk about wisdom, to talk about non-conceptualization, but the very fact of a human's ordinary experience, the fact of the domain where we are, cannot be declared. That's the domain of knowledge. So in the first, that is Wen Hui, that is in that case, Hui should be translated as understanding, not wisdom really, properly speaking. It's not wisdom in the sense that I just explained to you. It is still knowledge. So you derive knowledge from listening. Actually, that's a very good question because I gave a lecture in Singapore on a fairly similar theme as the one I did this morning, but it's fully focused on the whole topic of religiousness, religiosity, that I just a bit touch upon this morning. And in that lecture, I was responding to the previous speaker, who was interpreting this threefold understanding. The first is understanding from listening. One. Second is your hui, the si that you talk about, that is reflection. Okay? Reflection. And third is the understanding derived from cultivation. Now that person, that speaker, compares this threefold understanding to the process of reading, learning, that is number one, then making notes, number two, you see, and then analyzing, understanding, and deriving the knowledge in a proper sense as number three. Now that kind of comparison, that kind of matching, I think is very superficial, to say the least, and it is distorting the true, profound significance of the three types of understanding. In other words, the first four, that is listening, is not just simply reading a book, as the person was trying to say. Not learning in the ordinary sense. It is learning of reality. It's learning of the Dharma, of truth. Actually, it is the listening to what we may call the emanation from the experience of enlightenment of the Buddha. The Buddha is enlightened, and in this state, he sees things non-dualistically. He sees things truly as they are. Right? Now, although we have not got that kind of state, we cannot simply deceive ourselves that we are like that. We have to admit humbly that we have problems, we have conflicts within us all the time at different levels. So although we are like this, but nevertheless, we can tune into the profound experience of the Buddha. We can align ourselves with it in such a way that as we listen to the verbalization of the experience of enlightenment, the verbalization is what is called the so-called philosophy or psychology of Buddhism. It's just an expression, verbal expression of the inner experience of the Buddha, which is ultimately not dualistic, not intellectual, but wisdom in the true sense. As we tune ourselves into it this way, align ourselves with it in this way, gradually we also, within us, is induced the process of deeper reflection, spiritual reflection. That's the second one. So, and then from that, the actual realization of that wisdom. So this is another, through a process of tuning in, aligning ourselves with it. That is one. So one, the so-called understanding derived from listening is not mere accumulation of knowledge. It's not just reading and then followed by note making, and it's a very superficial comparison. Okay? Actually, the comparison was made by a well-known nun, by the way. I don't want to name him, but I respect him, but I cannot agree with that kind of profanization of the profound wisdom of the Buddha. So, therefore I point out that at the first stage, you must know what you want to listen to. It's not a case of going, on Google. You Google, and the more you Google, the more wisdom, the more knowledge you accumulate. You see, it's an accumulation of more and more knowledge. It's not like that. Today you have this theory, tomorrow you have another theory, and then even in psychology and in physics, a later theory contradicts the earlier theory, or replaces the earlier theory. It's like Einstein physics replaces Newtonian physics. Not to say that Newtonian physics is wrong, but then it exposes a limitation of Newtonian physics, for example. In psychology also, you are told one theory about subconscious, 10 years, 5 years later, another theory comes about that, in fact, in this case, really often overthrows the earlier one. And then, again, in another 5 years, you have another new theory, and which theory you want to believe in? You waste your time, you have only, how many 5 years can you have in your life? You believe a certain one theory only to find yourself replacing it with a newer theory, and then with a newer theory. Wisdom is not like that. Wisdom is of an ultimate nature. Wisdom is acquired in enlightenment. So I would rather align myself, tune myself into the wisdom of the Buddha. And that requires, of course, a leap of faith too. And that's where faith comes in. That's where religion comes in. Rather than spending my lifetime Googling, on the internet, and searching for this knowledge, and then another different knowledge, and then another contradictory knowledge. Not like that. Okay? So, the first thing therefore is, what do you want to listen to? What do you want to learn? In spiritual terms, listening is learning. Okay? So reading a book also, there are so many books. So many books, even in America, by so many religious leaders, cult leaders. You really must make a choice. For me, I would choose to listen to writings which represent the verbalization of the ultimate wisdom of the Buddha. So therefore, the first thing involves the question of what to listen to. And secondly, how to listen to. You know what I mean? If you compare listening to reading today, today you can read in many ways. You can fold your legs in an air-conditioned room, comfortably on your bed, and then you listen to a CD or recording. Or you can go on to online learning. So you learn that way. But when you learn that way, you do not not have the benefit of the personal interaction. You don't feel inspired by the speaker. The difference in listening to a speaker directly is that a certain word, certain sentences, certain point made by the speaker can reach your heart directly when you are tuning into that person. So you have to listen creatively, attentively. You have to tune yourself. So all this is about how to listen. By just listening on the internet or from the CD, you don't get that effect. There's no personal inspiration that way. So there's a big difference. So today the problem is that we have lost the art of listening creatively. We lost the art of creative listening. In the classroom, you have students who are humble and they are more creative, they are more attentive, they are more really tuning. But then you have students who are, trying to be smart and they are making up questions to challenge you before you finish. They have not been listening to you. They don't want to listen. They don't want to get a chance to challenge you. These people never tune you, never listen creatively. To listen creatively means you really become inspired by the speaker, you become transformed by the speaker, transformed by the words. And that's what today we need to learn. And to do that, it involves so many things: respect, faith, appreciation, and a very receptive mental attitude. All these things today are mostly lost. In ancient time, in the Buddha's teaching in the sutras, how do you listen to the Dhamma? That is described very carefully, clearly in the Pali Sutras. So it involves many steps. First, you must go near to the teacher. To go near to the teacher. If it's just Google, you go on internet, you never get there. Going to the teacher means that you're mentally preparing yourself, you're aligning yourself, you're tuning to yourself. So you feel humble, you have made the decision that I want to learn, then I go to that teacher, right? So you go to the teacher with a mentality of respect. And then it says there must be moral shame and moral fear. Now this is a translation of Chinese word 惭愧. You must have 惭愧. When you listen, when you want to learn the Dhamma from a teacher. And you must have a personal relationship. Then you are asked to attend the teacher. You serve the teacher. Not because, you serve the teacher because you get in return. It's like a payment. You pay a school fees, you learn something. Okay, I serve the teacher because I'm getting something from the teacher, in return. Not in a utilitarian sense. Yeah? You serve the teacher because you want to tune the mentality, the wisdom of the teacher. So you feel the wisdom flowing into you in a very natural way. And for that, the prerequisite is that relationship, the spiritual relationship. That is in the process of attending of the teacher. You make tea to the teacher, you serve the teacher. You feel so happy, so grateful that you have a chance to serve. Already you are in the mind, or you are in the mentality of love and affection. The word love also occurs in that description. Prema. All this. So, and then you lead in the teacher. You don't just go there to the classroom and then 100 students and then they go away. You don't even know their names. There's no connection. You don't learn spiritually that way. When the teacher speaks, he speaks directly to the students. He speaks with concern, with sincerity. Even he may not be a Buddha, he may not be fully perfect, Nobody is fully perfect, unless except the Buddha, right? But he speaks with sincerity. He may be a person just like you, ordinary person. Also, he has his own conflicts. But you can feel his sincerity as he speaks. You can feel that he has been struggling, that he finds meaning in what he is talking to you. All these things affect you. These are psychophysical factors that you can never get by Googling. So, this kind of spiritual learning presupposes a relationship. You must have a relationship in a proper relationship with the teacher. That's why you have the guru-pupil relationship emphasized in any Buddhist teaching, whether it is Chinese Buddhism, Indian Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, you see that. So today I'm saying that unfortunately all these qualities, human qualities are, if not lost, they are blocked, they are not developed. They are blocked because of the conditioning of the modern world. People feel ashamed to want to learn humbly. Why should I be humble? Why should I feel that I'm second to the teacher? And I must have confidence, so-called. I must have my individuality, so-called. So I must have my assertiveness. It's really it's strange sometimes, you see some Buddhists, they never feel they want to put their hands together or bow to a teacher, I think in the Western situation you see this kind of happen, but they don't do that. Because they say, hi, the teacher and you are on a par, then why should I bow to that? Another human being, no, don't need to do that. Yeah, I appreciate him. I say hi to him, I say thanks to him, I conform to conventions of politeness. I've seen, for example, in Sri Lanka, some very learned Buddhist professors, and many of them have got a PhD from England, from other countries, from the States. And then they go back. When they go back, they are transformed because they think, I know better than my fellow countrymen, I've got Western knowledge, I've got modern knowledge, and I know what it means to be equal. I know about the whole notion of equality, of democracy, therefore I don't need to bow and show them. These people, before they went, they bow very naturally, they show their appreciation very naturally. Before they went overseas, and when they came back, they're totally different people. They're telling others, you can't understand Buddhism unless you know Western philosophy, unless you know Western psychology. Otherwise, there's no chance. So the Asians are being conditioned that way. So you can see these professors, they are confused themselves. From the traditional learning, they want to show respect. They feel happy to show respect. They feel happy as they bow down. As a result of the modern conditioning, they can't do that. They can't make themselves bow down anymore. So they awkward. How should they behave in front of a monk? It's so interesting to observe. So I want to tell you that in the understanding of listening, it presupposes many important human qualities, spiritual qualities. Then only you can learn. This is what I mean by tuning in, by being this is receptive listening. It's only with all these prerequisites that your listening is different from ordinary learning, that your listening can be creative, because you in the process of listening, you will feel inspired and you will be changed. As the second one, let me say a few words more also. It's not just a matter of taking notes, and the person talks about taking a so-called Evernote. Very smart way of making notes. Now you see, these days, besides writing, besides typing in words, in the word format, you can bring graphic, you can bring video chips, and they are supposed to be smart note making. But Chinta Maya Pratya is not like that. It's not just making note in the modern sense. It's a process of actually meditative reflection. The word Chinta, of course, means thinking, but it's not ordinary intellectual thinking. It's meditation. If you go to, for example, this morning I'm talking about Abhidhamma. In Abhidhamma, in the Abhidhamma text, like for example, the Abhidhamma Bhashya, that is Jisha Lun, you can see that the section on the understanding of derived from reflection, Chintamaya Pratya. Under that section, you have a whole description of meditations. So definitely, the second stage is much more than intellectual reflection of ordinary sense. It involves very deep meditative insight. You really must do the meditations. So it's certainly something that cannot be achieved by making use however smartly you do it in a modern way. Okay? Then in the third stage, on the basis of tuning into truth, the first stage, and then meditatively gaining insight, and then thirdly, finally, you're able to actually cultivate and develop the wisdom. You see, the insight. You actually personally, directly acquire the insight. That's called bhavana. So, and even these three processes, this morning I told you, are just merely actually not the ultimate kind of wisdom. Not anasrava, 就是不是无漏的，是有漏。They are in a sense still impure, however good they are. It's not yet pure pratya. Pure pratya comes about when you really enter into the so-called path of insight called darshana marga. Darshana, seeing the 见道, and then bhavana marga, the path of cultivation. So, one is修 these three, Srutamai, Chintamai, Bhavana-mai, Pratya, involve a lot more than learning in ordinary sense. Okay? And especially with reference to your concern. The second one, Chintamai, is certainly not just reflection of wisdom. It's meditative insight. Okay.
I have a question just related to one point you mentioned this morning, but I just want to be more accurate about your point. So please allow me to speak in Chinese first. 今天早上呢，您提到说，由外向内观察一个东西呢，总是会涉及信仰，然后
涉及什么？
信仰 ，religion or faith， 是吗？对，I'm looking at my notes. Hope I'm correct. Okay. 对。然后您说从这个角度来看呢，科学也是一种信仰，对吗？对。Okay. So Anyway, I have to say that first let me say I agree with you. I agree with you. 我同意您的说法。我同意您的说法。但是呢，因为我自己也是在做 science. I am a scientist, so I'm actually very interested in your point. But however, I'm afraid most of my colleagues, other scientists, might not agree with you. They might say that they are being objective. So they have instruments to measure many things. They have figures, they have numbers. So they are being objective. But the religious people are just being subjective. So I'm just wondering whether you can elaborate a little bit.
Well, firstly, objectivity, I don't deny that. In scientific investigation, there certainly is the concern of objectivity. But objectivity is also relative, you know. How objective you can be, you see. And I was commenting on the whole notion of absolute knowledge. If you say that I know something truly and absolutely, right? So that's a case of knowing without belief. To the extent that you have not gained that absolute knowledge, to that extent, there is an element of so-called faith, in that sense. So, in other words, objectivity is relative, faith too is relative. Okay? And this is the first point. Secondly, faith, I'm using Eric Fromm's way of explaining things, can be divided into rational faith and irrational faith. Likewise, religion is divided into rational religion and irrational religion. Now, in irrational faith, in irrational religion, then of course, you have the domain of the irrational believing. And this is problematic, this is harmful to humanity. Okay? So, from that point of view, psychologists and scientists reject religion. Yeah? Or at least many of them do. Yeah. But you can speak of a rational faith. You can speak of rational belief, rational religion. This morning I was talking about religion. It's in the sense of a frame of orientation. Yeah? With a constant understanding, a constant response to the human need to transcend his or her predicament. And so you are doing many things, for example, in ritual. You use ritual, you use chanting, you bow to the Guru, you say praises. These are wonderful human qualities. Today, we cannot even praise. We are shy to eulogize, to show respect. But these are inner qualities that we all have them. We see something wonderful, we cannot help wanting to praise, wanting to bow down to. You see? So, if it is a belief that is irrational, well, that is the domain of irrational religion. That is bad, that is wrong. But a belief can also be rational. It can be based on understanding, based on certain amount of objectivity. But this objectivity too itself is relative. Okay? So, as a scientist understands a phenomenon as an external observer, more and more, his understanding approximates absolute knowledge. But it's never absolute knowledge. It can only approximate. So, since it involves a case of approximation, it means in that sense, to that extent, it involves faith. But when he has absolute knowledge, then there's no faith. Okay? So, but that cannot happen within the domain of dualistic observation. It can never ever happen. You can only go nearer and nearer to it. For that to happen, you must come to the dominant region, for lack of a better term. You must come to the dominant spiritual insight, in which you become one with the object. You are the object. So there's no question of speculating about the object. You know the object fully because you are knowing yourself completely. You're not relying on external observation. That's what I was commenting on, the element of faith.
So I think we will open up to the last questions, and anyone have questions? Anyone need to ask them? Yes.
This morning you mentioned something like centrifugal and centrifugal.
Centrifugal, centrifugal, yes.
And centrifugal. I wonder, could you elaborate a little bit more on those? In what aspect?
Let me recollect the context. Okay, I think I'm talking about firstly the two modes of operation of our mind. You see? The mind can operate creatively, it can operate also reactively. When the mind operates reactively, that is the usual mode, you react to something. And the way you react to some experience is based on